All right, so Glenn Bill is a local guy. A lot of us know him. He grew up here in Indiana. He's been around doing a lot for a lot of people. A servant leader like all of us. And it's my great pleasure to introduce him. He's a very good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. You probably recognize him as a great wrestling and football coach. But what you may not know is that he's the only person in all of Indiana to have been part of 13 football championships as either a player or a coach. That's pretty impressive, the only one in Indiana. He's a nationally recognized attitude coach and sales strategy specialist. He helped grow a large national real estate brokerage franchise to the top 10 in the world. He began his career as a realtor owner and assistant high school football coach. Glenn was aligned with extraordinary people who raised him to high levels of success in both arenas, and he's extremely thankful and humbled by their impact on his life, studies, and attitude. Glenn's a serial entrepreneur and ravenous learner of attitude and self-improvement. As the founder of the University of Attitude, Glenn champions success of others because he knows, understands, and lives a life based on a winning attitude. He speaks nationally to audiences for thirst for increased production, profitability, morale for their team or company. Currently, Glenn is traveling the world sharing his hard-won attitude principles in leadership with the goal of changing the world one attitude at a time. Please join with me in welcoming Mr. Glenn Bill. There he is.
Let's go. All right, I'm here. Welcome. How is everybody today? Turn up that music. Yes. It's all about your attitude. Welcome. All right, you can cut the music. We're good. It's so good to be here with you today. I talk loud. Is everybody awake? Say yes. All right, so this all works really well. When I say yes, let me hear you say yes. When I say aye, let me hear you say aye. All right, raise your hand if you're dealing with somebody in your life who has a difficult attitude right now. Those of you who did not raise your hands, you would be the ones with the difficult attitude. Okay? Just so you know. Now, how many people in here feel like they could use an attitude boost? Say aye. How many people feel like there's someone at your table or near you who could use an attitude boost? Say aye. It's amazing that's two different things. Like, it's always everybody. I get less people in the first and more people in the second. I'm honored to be here with you. Attitude is a great thing. I believe it's your best personal asset. I'm not here to change your attitude. I'm not here to tell you what attitude to have. Chances are you're probably going to have the same attitude you had when you walked in here. But what I am going to tell you is what to think about. I know this, that the quality of your life, the quality of your career, the quality of your happiness is determined upon the quality of the questions you ask yourself about your life, your career, and your happiness. And yes, your attitude. So I'm going to be up here for about 30 to 35 minutes asking you a lot of questions. Does everybody have a pen and paper? If you do, say aye. Now, you have a choice to either make notes and write questions down or not. I'm going to have to kind of fly through this. We're a little behind. How many people want me to stay on time and not be long-winded? Say aye. How many people do not want me to suck today? Say aye. All right, very good. How many of you want to see leaders, and I mean leaders, that make $10 million or more a year? Would that interest you, yes or no? No? How about we're going to try this again? We got to get everybody into this. How many want to see how people that make $10 million, leaders that make $10 million start their workday? How many people want to hear that? Say aye. Very good. I think we're going to do that. So let's turn this one up. Are we ready, sound guy? Jimmy, here we go.
Because we spelled greatness, because we wanted to be special, and now we're going to finish good.
All right, so is that how you're showing up to work every day, yes or no? Could you imagine if you showed up to work every day, yes or no? All right, so like how many of you thinking right now going, oh my God, I hope he doesn't make me do this? Some of you. You know, attitude and the transference of attitude happens through 70% through your physical stature. And I can tell you this, 70% of you are transmitting to me that you do not want to increase your attitude or your emotion. Why do $10 million players do that before games? Do you know why they do? Right? Because motion creates emotion. And if you want to be a great leader, mastering your emotion is important. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to master some emotion. I need everybody to stand up. Oh, you guys seem so enthusiastic today. Okay? Guys, look at, how many people are leaders in here? Say aye. Okay, well look at, if you can't lead yourself to create emotion, you sure as hell aren't going to lead other people, right? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to find your attitude partner for the year, well, or until the next LDFR. I want you to grab somebody and say, you're my attitude partner. Ready, go. Right. I want you to look at each other. I want you to look at each other and say, I'm going to keep you positive today. I want you to look at each other and say, no bitching or complaining in my presence today. That's what I'm talking about. All right, now, I need one of you to be partner A. Say, I'm partner A, whichever one. I want one of you to be partner B. Say, I'm partner B. All right, A's in the room. I want to hear you say, I'm alive. All right, that's pretty good, B. Can we do better? B, say, I'm alive. Oh, the B's got ya. Now, I like, the B's got ya. Now, let me tell you, why do I say that you're alive? How many people wake up in the morning and say, good morning, God? And then how many people wake up in the morning and go, good God, it's morning, right? We have to understand how we show up matters, right? And so that's what we're doing today. Thank God we're alive. I call it the zombie disease. You may know this. And the hospitals that you show up into, and people are walking and they're freaking zombies. So when you go back and you see people walking through, zombie, zombie. Here's the rule for when you show up at your workplace, no more zombies. Say no more zombies. Right, so that's what we're talking about, being alive. A's, I want you to say, I'm alert. That's pretty good, B's. Let's see if we can make good and make it better. B's, I'm alert. That's about the same, I don't know. So we're going to have one last challenge, and that's going to be, and I feel great. How many people when you wake up go, I feel great? I want you to think that tomorrow morning you're going to go, this crazy speaker got up. When you open your eyes and you're going, I need snooze, I want you to go, God, I feel great. Right? I mean, it's what you tell yourself. A's, let me hear you say, I feel great. B's, let me hear you say, I feel great. All right, give yourself a round of applause. Very good. Yeah, see, now the energy's going. You can go ahead and sit down. How many people feel a little bit better now than they did when I walked up here? Say aye. Some of you guys are like, damn, my seat feels better. I'm feeling good. This is good. So here's the deal. How you show up matters. And here's my question. How are you showing up? What attitude did you bring today? Right? How are you showing up when you come home to your spouse and your children? How are you showing up to your peers at work? Are you showing up like Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints? How are you showing up to yourself in the mirror? How many people look in the mirror and the first thing they do is say something negative? Oh my God, you look like hell. Right? Why are all the women laughing in their audience today? Right? Ladies, please tell yourself something fantastic when you look in the mirror. Show up in the mirror and tell yourself how great you are. Look it. You have to start to be great. You have to start with this mindset, with this attitude that, you know what? I am going to make people great. Everyone I touch today is going to be lifted up. How are you showing up? Because it does matter, and people know. We're all here to educate and network, right? We're all going to be learning about St. Vincent, their mission, MIT, and all this wonderful stuff. Guys, you got 35 minutes, right? They said, we want this to be about you, about the leaders as people. I'm not here to talk to you about business. I'm here to talk to you about leading yourself, leading your family, leading your happiness. This 35 minutes with me today is for you. This is a gift to you. This isn't for necessarily St. Vincent's. So I want you to take this time. I want you to own it, and I want you to say to yourself, I'm going to get better. Let me say, I'm going to get better. Let me hear it. Hell yes, you are. Okay, here we go. So is there $1 million in the room? Is there $1 million relationship in the room? We're here to educate and network. How many people, how many leaders are sitting on $1 million idea in this room? I can tell you this. I believe that every person has greatness within them. I believe that every person has $1 million idea in the room. When I speak at these networking events, at these leadership retreats, and I love the dots. I'd love somebody to come up and give me a dot at some time. That'd make me feel great. The point is, everyone has a story. And I think our goal in life is to find the story inside of each and every person that sits next to you today. Everybody, I believe, has $1 million idea. And our job is to pull that out of each and every person. Not only those who are here, but more importantly, the people that you go back and touch when we're done with today. So the bottom line is, are you open to the opportunity, yes or no? Yes. All right, and let's say that we're really open to the opportunity, yes or no? Yes, that's a way to raise it up. Very good. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about leadership. How many people watch the Super Bowl? Say aye. Yeah, everybody, of course. So as leaders, we're either the driving force or we're a liability, right? Now, what do you guys notice about the picture of the driving force? Who knows who those two people are? Andy Reid is the head coach. He is the leader, and Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. He's his quarterback. You want to talk about look at guys, I stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning reading all of your surveys. Those of you who did the surveys, I want to thank you. That's the attitude. I learned from you. I know who's sitting in this audience. I know your challenges, and I know what's going on. And the one thing that rang true to me was this slide. Yes, you're leaders, but you're challenged by the people you lead. Here's what I'm going to tell you about leadership. Andy Reid's the leader. He's the head coach, but you know what? He's got an informal leader named the quarterback. My question is who's your informal leader when you go back and touch the lives in the hospitals that you do tomorrow? Who are the people that you are leading that are your quarterback, that love you? Are you going to walk into the hospital tomorrow and have one of your followers come up and go, God, I missed you. How was LDFR? See, a lot of people don't get leadership. Leadership is about players and informal leaders. It's about helping other people become leaders, but not necessarily calling them leaders. Helping people understand their value. Or, of course, there are leaders who are liabilities, right? And that's the picture on the right. We're not here to talk about that. All I'm saying is a graphic. Which one are you? And if you don't have a quarterback and you don't have an informal leader that you're leaning on, I suggest you get one or maybe two, and you'll see things change. Why do people leave? I was doing this speech in Michigan, and they go, Glenn, can we put retention on that? I'm like, retention, that's so nice. No, I really want to know why people leave, right? People leave because there's a lack of a fit. They don't feel like there's a fit. There's no opportunity to advance, and the pay and benefits just aren't quite what they needed. And to be honest with you, I saw a few of that in the surveys, which is fine. And our leaders, we need to know. You guys did the surveys. Just think of the people who followed if they did the surveys, what I would learn, right? But here's the reason people leave. The biggest reason is poor leadership. That's why people leave. I've seen people stay and do things for great leaders because of what those leaders give them. Those leaders give them belief. They give them belonging. They give them love and connection, which is what we all need, right? We all need love more than anything else. So that's what we're here to work on today is let's help our retention, and let's make sure that we're not poor leaders when it's all said and done. So I'll go through a list of questions for you. Hopefully you'll write them down. Hopefully you'll look and you'll think what it's like. What is it like to work for you? Right? What is it like to work for you? What would your people say? And I'm going to tell you this. I ran a company, I had 175 salespeople under me. No one worked for me. They all worked with me. Here's a nugget. No one will work for you until they feel like they work with you. If there's one thing you can do when you go back to your hospitals today is find a couple informal leaders, find a couple quarterbacks, and say, I'm in it with you. And as far as I'm concerned, your lowest paid employee needs to be with you first. If you want people to work for you, if you want them to run through brick walls, stay late, do all the extra stuff that you ask them to do, they better feel like you're with them, not that they're working for you. Attitude class is what we're doing today is going to help us identify our attitudes and prepare a strategy. We're going to talk about the strategy on how to keep a positive attitude at the end of the day. I'm going to be back on for about another 35 or 40 minutes. So the bottom line is, how do you define attitude, right? And now I ask this is a bigger group, so I'm not going to ask you to stand up and say it, but I know usually 99% of the people go, I have no idea how to define attitude, right? Attitude is simply this. It's the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think. It's the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think. My question is how are you dedicating yourself to the way you think? Right? The great Earl Nightingale said, you become what you think about all day long. My question to you is, what are you thinking about all day long? Are you thinking about how overburdened you are? Are you thinking that you wish you had better employees, more loyal employees that didn't bitch and complain all the time? Do you see challenges and problems as obstacles or opportunities? I was in the green room back there, and the guy goes, hey, make sure you lock up all your valuables. And I said, man, that's kind of negative. I said, you know what? I see it like, you know what? Anybody working here is probably not making as much money as me. If they need to steal my computer, they need a darn computer, let them have it. And he goes, I guess that's one way to look at it. I see it as an opportunity. I leave my keys in my car unlocked. If you know where it is, go ahead, take it. I don't care. I don't want the window to break when you steal it from me. But the point is, attitude is a choice, and you get to choose your attitude. I have a book, and I'll be doing a book signing. My guess is we're going to do it at lunch. The book's called The ABCs of Attitude, and we have the Get Attitude Playbook. If you want to know why you do what you do, why you make the decisions that you make, why you have the attitude you have, and how you can change your attitude, how you can change your way of thinking, that's what this book will do. The Get Attitude Playbook is simply a journal for you to engage and do it. If you guys want to take a picture of this, that's fine. You can download this free to your cell phone. It's just abcsofattitude.com/playbook. You will get that for free. Feel free, just pop it in, give us your name and number, and the Attitude Playbook is great. You can order the book online at Amazon, and like I said, I think I got 100 or so books that I'll be signing at lunch for you. All right. So what percentage of your success is dependent on your attitude? Anybody want to guess on this one? 100%. Attitude is? Attitude is everything. Isn't that funny that people say attitude is everything? Yet when you think about it, when's the last time you really had attitude training? Right? In high school, in college, there's not a lot of attitude training out there. That's why I've gone ahead and done this. And when you're listening, communicating, serving customers, which we call patients, or doing your job, what percentage of your success is dependent on the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think when you're involved there, right? It would be how much? Let's say 100%. 100%, there you go. So it all starts with attitude. My question is how is yours? Here's what I'd love you to write down, because we're going to be quick about this. If you don't know, just put a question mark. My attitude is question mark. Or my attitude is whatever you want to say. I think it's important that we ask ourselves what our attitude is. Sometimes we don't even check it out. Sometimes we don't even tune it up. How many people been to the doctor in the past year? Say aye. How many people been to the dentist in the past year? Say aye. How many people get their oil changed every 3,000 miles? Say aye. Some of you are like, damn, I need an oil change. I can tell that, right? Right? Well, sometimes we need to tune up our attitude. And I believe that every now and then people need a little pep talk. And that's what I'm here to do today, to help you guys understand what is my attitude and what would I like my attitude to be. Right? I can tell you that the number one answer that we get when we survey people is, I'd like my attitude to be consistent. Right? I want my attitude to be consistent. That's the biggest problem with your attitude, because people don't dedicate themselves to the way they think, because they let outside influences affect their positivity. I'm just telling you today that you're going to have to stay focused and you're going to have to stay positive. I want you to look at your attitude buddy and say, make sure you stay positive. Go ahead. Right? Don't you let your attitude person down. Here's what I also know, that we all have two things in common. They're problems in relationships. Right? And how many people have relationships that are causing most of their problems? Say aye. Right? It's like crazy. So how we approach our problems in our relationships is really all about our attitude. Ann said it earlier in her reflection when it was all said and done. And so here's the deal. Are you a whiner? Are you a warrior when it comes to your problems and your relationships? I'm here today to tell you that I know deep down you're a warrior. You may be a whiner, but my hope is that after today and after our 35 minutes, you're going to say, there's a better way for me. I need to be more positive. I am not going to let negative people affect my attitude. I'm not going to let negative people affect my joy.
I guess it was 3 years ago, a young man came in.
Lou
He
Holtz.
was the son of a friend. He was not an athlete. He was a student at Notre Dame and just flunked out. He said, Coach, I've got to sit out for a semester, and then they're going to let me back in for one last chance. He said, can you help me? I said, I can give you some advice. And I took a card, and I wrote the word win. And win stands for what's important now. I said, you put that by your bed, and you read it in the morning, you read it at night. You want to graduate from Notre Dame? Don't think about it. Just do what's important now. Make sure you get up in the morning, go to class, dress properly, sit in the front row, make your adequately prepared, and take the right attitude. He came to see me about a month ago. He had graduated from the University of Notre Dame, and he said he read that thing every single day. If you don't do that, all you do is have a wish list.
All right, there you go. I don't know what your wish list is or not. How many people like Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, huh? Got some Damers? My father was a Notre Dame grad, God rest his soul. I wear his ring every time I speak. I was very fortunate to coach two All-Americans at Notre Dame. Love me some Notre Dame, but I also love a lot of other colleges because I coached a lot of other guys that played at some unbelievable things, unbelievable colleges. One of them's here today, which you're probably going to get to, he'll get to wave to you pretty soon. But let me tell you something about the word win. This is, it's not in there. The bottom line is you must, that's what we do. Anyway, let me tell you about winning, right? You must win in your mind before you can win in life when it's all said and done. I believe that everybody is 6 inches away from their greatest year. See, this whole game called life, this whole thing called leadership, this whole thing called success is right here between your ears. And that's what we're here to talk about today. I want to talk to you about the 5 attitude traits of great leaders. Number 1 is leadership is not a position, it's a disposition. It amazes me how many leaders are called a leader and they think because they're called a leader, they're actually a leader. But the bottom line is they're not. Because leadership is about who you are inside more than what you're called on the outside. It's a disposition, not a position. You are the lighthouse in times of crisis. Whether you're in that ER room in crisis, whether you're delivering a budget that doesn't look good to a boss, that's crisis, right? We got to stay calm. As a coach for 25 years, I can tell you this. Whenever I saw an opposing coach on the sideline throw his head down, scream at his players, yank their face mask, which I've done before, okay, and we lost, I knew they were going to lose. You're going to see Nick Saban up here. Nick won several NCAA championships, but just last year, he lost it on the sidelines. And I said, you know what, that is not a disposition of a winner. I want you to notice what your disposition is in times of crisis or in times of stress or discomfort. And remember that leadership is not a position, it's your disposition. And let's talk about your disposition when it comes to one of your core values, which is serving the poor, the generosity of spirit. Is your disposition one that is giving, that is generosity of spirit, especially for the persons that need it most? Right? I got to talk with Julie Schneiders yesterday, and she said, you know what? Change is everywhere. Change is happening at an alarming pace. And like I said, I saw your reports. How do I keep up with change? It's stressful, right? So it's all crazy, but the only thing that doesn't change is the needs of our patients, right? I'm like, wow, that's so profound. And let me tell you what else doesn't change. Your needs as leaders, your needs as people, those don't change. So I know that you guys are going through a lot of change. I know that you touch a lot of lives, but understand that it's your disposition that will carry you through. Don't wait for leaders, do it alone, person to person. One other thing that I think you should really consider doing as leaders is talking to people that you lead person to person. And maybe what you do is you call it a huddle meeting or a 3-minute meeting. I don't know how many people are under you individually, but I can tell you this, doing things on a person-to-person basis are going to make you a more effective leader, and it's going to rocket your relationship with the people that are under you. I want you to think about right now 2 or 3 people that you really haven't talked to person, who you work with every day, and say that I'm going to do that. You know, Mother Teresa said that there should be less talk, right? Don't wait for leaders. Do it alone. Take the broom and clean someone's house. That says enough. One of my All-American football players is actually here today. He played at the Purdue University and for the Miami Dolphins. And he was a senior. And during two-a-days, which isn't easy, we told our sophomores every day that locker room better look the exact same as it did when you walked in. You leave things the way that you found them. And we want the floor broom swept after every practice. Well, sure enough, it was the middle of two-a-days. And guess what happened? The sophomores all left, right? They all left. And we said, oh, Coach Bill is going to be in some people today. We were going to be doing up downs. We were just going to terrorize these sophomores. But what we also did is if somebody did the wrong thing, everybody got punished. Well, we went and met as coaches, and we walked back in the locker room, and that locker room was perfectly swept clean. And we saw a guy walking down the hall putting up the broom. You know who it was? It was the All-American football player who was a senior. Now that's leadership. Like, what are you doing when somebody's dropping the ball at your hospital, right? I mean, here's a kid getting recruited by 110 different schools, best player on the team, 4-year starter, ultimately your leader, and he's sweeping the floor as a senior for sophomores? Are you kidding me? What are you willing to do? I'd like to recognize Ryan Baker's back there. Ryan, give him a round of applause. How many Purdue Boilermakers are in here? Woo! How many IU fans are in here? How many people think I need to be talking to that IU basketball team about attitude? Yeah, let them know. Thank you, Ryan. That's a great story and a great example. Number 2, from our very own Peyton Manning, he said, look, a leadership trait is understanding that pressure is a privilege. The bottom line is you need to be under pressure as a leader. You ought to embrace the fact that you have pressure going on with you in your leadership position. So here's the deal. Humans are comfort seekers. It's the individual that does not seek comfort who is an extraordinary person. I want you to say this. I'm comfortable. Man, you guys are dead. I mean, are you leaders or not? Do you want to play along, yes or no? All right, because you know what? When you talk and when you vocalize, it sinks into your nervous system. So when you half-ass it and go, oh, yeah, I'm comfortable, it's not going to be in you. So let's do it like we mean it. I'm comfortable. Being uncomfortable. See, I cannot wait to be uncomfortable. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. That's why I do this, right? All kinds of things could go wrong, but I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. Look, I know that a lot of you are uncomfortable, but the bottom line is you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And I hope you take that with you, and I hope you take that with you back to your hospitals. Certainly you guys know this. I read this just yesterday. I put this in the keynote just yesterday, this concept of turgor. How many people know what turgor is? Yes, right? Or any botanists in the house? I read it from a botanist study about leadership. And turgor is the fullness that comes from the tension produced by the fluid that flows through the veins of plants, right? And the lack of proper tension is what causes plants to rise. The force of turgor. and the tension that expands. And the lack of proper tension makes plants droop. And I thought to myself, you know what? Humans are the exact same. We all need a certain amount of proper tension. We all need, as leaders, a certain amount of proper pressure and strife. Because you know what? Without it as leaders, we will wilt. If there's no challenge at all, we will wilt just like a flower. So the bottom line is, think about Turger and think about that this is a privilege that I leave. Don't play it safe, right? Hello? Right? That's what we just want to wrap everybody up and play it safe. Today, don't play it safe. There are $1 million ideas in every seat. Don't play it safe. If you've got something to say it. Right? If you've got a good idea, believe in yourself enough to say it. Pressure challenges us to stay honest. Whatever you do, stay honest today. It creates more meaning in your life. Right? I don't know what things mean to you, but I think it's an important thing when we talk about attitude. What does it really mean when people do certain things, especially the people we lead? Sometimes we lead people and they may say or do something and it doesn't really mean what it means. And we need to say, is it true? And it forces us to grow. We talk about, and I've seen it, I want people to be more creative. I want to inspire courageous innovation, right? Well, how do you do that? And are you doing that? One way is to ask them for something that's new. Necessity is the mother of invention. As you walk through your workflow, is there something that's necessary? I mean, think about the wheel, right? Think about the guy that was like, God, if we had this round thing and I could move things, this would be a good idea. I always think about the guy that he invented the hockey mask, John DePlante. They used to play professional hockey for 50 years before they invented the hockey mask for goalies. Now, don't you think that like after guys kept getting hit in their face with pucks, somebody would invent the hockey mask? As leaders, here's my point. There are obvious solutions that are out there. Your job as leaders is to find the obvious, to find the necessity, and then you're going to look like you're coming up with creative innovation. Number 3, Nick Saban, do what you don't want to do, and don't do what you do want to do. Now that's a tough one because none of us want to do that, right? None of us want to do what we don't want to do. And the question is how do we leverage ourselves to do that? And I'm going to tell you this. It comes down to living in your circumstances or your vision. I know this, that a lot of people live in their circumstances, and if you're a leader who lives in their circumstances, you are not looking for answers, right? All you're doing is looking and complaining and bitching about your circumstances. But if you truly are living in your vision, you are able to leverage the idea of doing what you don't want to do. That's how you get past the lever of, man, I don't want to do this. There are things as leaders that I'm sure you're being asked to do that you don't want to do, but the bottom line is this, you got to make sure that they're there. I'm going to also tell you another way to leverage it, and that's the people that you are leading is to create certainty and significance. 2 of the biggest basic human needs of people that follow leaders are people saying they want more certainty in their life, their job, and they want to be treated with more significance. I'm sure if you write those down, I'm telling you that's like the most important leadership position that you can do. All right, so how do you do that again? Make it about them, not you, right? By creating certainty in their life, by creating significance, by telling them you need them to be a quarterback, by telling them, I need you to be with me in this. Number 4, General Schwarzkopf. I was honored to be able to speak with General Schwarzkopf. I didn't speak with him. He was way bigger than me, but I got to listen to his keynote. And the one leadership trait that he said was simply this, tell the truth. General Schwarzkopf, pretty powerful, imposing person. And it blew me away. I said, how simple is that? See, guys, you're all probably saying, damn, Glenn, I know that. Well, I know that you know a lot of what I'm going to be telling you. The question is, what I want you to ask yourself is, how good are you at it? How good are you at it with what you know? Tell the truth to your troops, each other, but most importantly, tell your truth to yourself. Sometimes I believe as leaders, we got to sit down and talk to ourselves and say, what are we really being truth about? Integrity, inspiring trust through personal leadership, right? Doing what you say you're going to do. Bud Grant from the Minnesota Vikings, he used to put in training camp 4 cones in a 5-area box. And he would always leave the practice field and he would tell his players, whatever you do, don't walk through that 5-yard box, okay? And he would go up and they go, Coach, why do you do that? He goes, I want to see the players that are going to walk through it anyway, right? You can't trust big matters to people that you can't trust little matters to. It's like how many people who you follow or who follow you would go ahead and walk right through that 5-yard box if you set those parameters at your hospital. Integrity. The truth is, the bottom line is, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, okay? You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and that's the truth. And that's something when we talk about attitude and how we need to be thinking about our life and our relationships and our problems, it could all end tomorrow. How many people have seen their life change just like that, right? Life changes just like that. And the bottom line, the patients that you treat, that's what's happening to them. Their life, boom. You guys know it more than anybody. All right, so let's go to number 5. Do your job and put the team first, okay? That's Bill Belichick. Another one of my players, his name's DeJuan Daniels. He's the black guy standing on the left there. And DeJuan's a dear friend of mine. DeJuan was fortunate enough to be in the New England Patriots organization for 15 years. He's got 5 Super Bowl rings. And when the New England Patriots drafted on draft day, it would be Bill Belichick, Robert Kraft, and this little kid from St. Joan of Arc, right here in Indianapolis. DeJuan's one of the brightest, smartest people I know, and I called him and I said, Bill Belichick is obviously one hell of a leader. Let's give me his best stuff. He said, bottom line is, do your job, put the team first, right? That's number 1. See, leaders always feel like they need to be first. Well, no, unfortunately, the job of a leader isn't all that glamorous. And we've all heard that one. I love this one, though. Bill Belichick is awesome at not being afraid to use a good idea. How many ideas are you collecting of the people that you follow, right? And how many you're not afraid to do them because they weren't yours? I'm telling you right now, just as there's unbelievable $1 million ideas that are sitting in this room, there's unbelievable $1 million ideas that are sitting with the people that you lead. Your job as a leader is to get with them, get into their hearts, get into their minds, and find out the gold that is with them. And that's what he was talking about here. The best thing I can do is determine the financial value of undervalued players. You probably have undervalued players that you're working with. I'd love you to identify them. I'd love you to say, hey, I'd like you to work with me when it's all said and done. There is a group benefit for individual achievement. So the bottom line is when somebody does great, the group all gets paid. But when something goes wrong for that individual, the group's going to pay too. And I lived that myself. I want you to watch this. Oh, hold on. I'm just going to wait there. Hopefully we're going to be able to play it. When we talk about leadership, I got this video. Hopefully I'm on time. Are we good on time? Huh? We're a little long? I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. Here we go. All right. You're going to like this, but I'll end it after this. This is an amazing testament to the greatest leader and the greatest job people on earth. Here we go.
Just give me 1 second. Thank
Sure.
you. Sorry.
I keep hearing it. But...
2 minutes. Thank you. Hi, good afternoon. Sorry about that.
how are you?
What time is it? How long was it?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have you ever done one of these interviews over the camera before?
No.
So let me tell you a little bit about the job to get started with. It's not just a job, it's sort of probably the most important job. The title that we have going right now is Director of Operations, but it's really kind of so much more than that. Responsibilities and requirements are really quite extensive. First category for the requirements would be mobility. This job requires that you must be able to work standing up most or really all of the time, constantly on your feet, constantly bending over, constantly exerting yourself, a high level of stamina.
Okay.
That's a lot.
For how many hours?
135 hours to unlimited hours a week. It's basically 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I'm sure you'll have a chance from time to time to maybe just sit down here and there, yeah?
You mean like a break?
Yeah.
No, there are no breaks available.
Is that even legal?
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, so like no lunch.
You can have lunch, but only when the associate is done eating their lunch.
I think that's a little intense.
No.
Not possible.
That's crazy.
Now, this position requires excellent negotiation and interpersonal skill. We're really looking for someone that might have a degree in medicine, in finance, and the culinary arts. You must be able to wear several hats. Associate needs constant attention. Sometimes they have to stay up with an associate throughout the night. Being able to work in a chaotic environment, if you had a life, we'd ask you to sort of give that life up. No vacations. In fact, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and holidays, the workload is going to go up, and we demand that with a happy disposition.
That's almost cruel. That's almost a very, very sick, twisted joke.
But when there's time to sleep or...
Oh, no time to sleep.
Yeah, all-encompassing almost.
That's exactly right.
365 days a year?
Yes.
No, that's inhumane.
That's very insane.
The meaningful connections that you make and the feeling that you get from really helping your associate are immeasurable. Also, let's cover the salary. The position is going to pay absolutely nothing.
Excuse me?
No. Nobody's doing it for free.
Yeah, pro bono, completely for free.
No.
What if I told you there's someone that actually currently holds this position right now? Billions of people, actually.
Who?
Moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moms.
That's awesome.
Oh.
And they meet every requirement, don't they?
Wow.
Oh my God. Moms are the best.
Yeah, there's no pay. They're 24 hours. They're always there.
Now I'm thinking about my mom.
Yeah, and what are you thinking about her?
I'm thinking about all those nights and everything.
Thank you so much for everything you do. I know it doesn't seem like I appreciate all of it, but I definitely do.
So, Mom, I want to say thank you for everything that you've done. I love you very much. You've been there through thick and thin. My mom is just awesome. She's awesome.
All right, let's hear it for moms. I want you to repeat after me. Lead like a mother. Right? Lead like a mother. That's what I'm talking. You don't need a motivational speaker. All you really need to do is think about your mother when you walk into your hospital, right? And you think about the most loyal people in your life, and it's your moms. That's the leadership lesson today. Lead with loyalty and lead like a mother. You know, loyalty is the highest form of customer satisfaction, right? Being a satisfied customer is the lowest level that we can give at Ascension St. Vincent. Having satisfied customers is not going to do anything for you. Satisfied customers don't refer you. They don't talk about their experience. They're just satisfied. Loyal customers go, oh my God, Ascension St. Vincent's is the best. I got the best care. You need to go there. I want to make sure you go there. Do you guys understand the difference, right? Between satisfaction, which is a low standard, and what we're shooting for, the loyalty of a mother. Let me give an example. When you think about the best brands in America, Harley Davidson, yes? Right? Their freaking loyal customers put tattoos of Harley Davidson on their head. Right? Like how many people here, how many of our leaders here would be willing to put Ascension St. Vincent tattoo on their chest or their head? I mean, I was in the gym early this morning. Now that's leadership. How many people are a little afraid to laugh right now? Great leaders aren't afraid to make fun of themselves. Are you able to make fun of yourself? Are you able to laugh at yourself? Are you able to have informal leaders come up and hug you? The other thing I always like to say about satisfaction and loyalty is this. Would you rather your spouse be satisfied or loyal? We're shooting for loyalty. One way you're going to get loyal is to have to go the extra mile. There are no traffic jams on the extra mile, and I hope that you will go and do the extra mile and do the things that we talked about. One last little thought. What if you visualized every person you encounter was wearing a shirt that said this, "Make me great"? I just happen to have a few. How about that? Look at your attitude partner and say, "I'm going to make you great." And now look at him and really mean it. "I'm going to make you great." What if every person that walked into an Ascension Health hospital or facility or office, that you literally looked at them and said, "I'm going to make you great"? Because you know who said that to you when you were a little kid? Who? Your mom. No matter what a piece of you know what you probably were, "I'm going to make you great. I'm loyal to you. Lead like a mother. I'll show you how great you are." You guys want to come up to me? I tell you, my vision in life is to help every person that I get in front of to make them great. If you want to be remembered tomorrow, do something great today. And what you need to do great today is stay focused and stay positive and pick up your pace about 25%. You know, on the great African continent, a lion wakes up and he looks at the sun and he says, "I must run faster than the slowest gazelle, or I will starve." That same gazelle wakes up and he says, "You know what? I must wake up and I must run faster than the slowest lion, for surely I will be eaten." The point is that you don't need to be the gazelle and you don't need to be the lion, but you do need to wake up running. Thank you for my 35 minutes, and I'll see you later today.